I'm sorry. I know I've been over here talking. I don't know if y'all heard anything I said. Probably not, because I wasn't added to the stage. But I'm saying good morning to everybody. We were here yesterday because um we were talking about Alex and his he was showing his receipts and telling things from his point of view from the event in question where they're saying Phaedra set up the guy to come to Angela about her husband cheating. Now, the guy is saying that Phaedra had nothing to do with this. And of course, we know that Angela is talking about taking them to court. Anyway, as of yesterday, he had only posted 3 parts. I was waiting on him to post the fourth part so that we could see it. He has now posted the fourth part, which I'm getting ready to show. I have yet to watch it, so I don't know what exactly he says. So we're going to be watching this together. So let's start.
Try to wrap all of this up in part four. However, I want to start off by giving a special thank you to the Geo, who has been super critical of me this last week, saying that I'm a liar and calling me out on all of these things. But I appreciate this post that he posted tonight.
Shared that got everyone so wet and wild was this partial screenshot of his DMs with Angela. But oddly enough, Alex, you didn't want to share the full thread for whatever reason, but
My phone number was in it.
So Alex then goes on to message Angela after saying, "Did you send the guy in the white Mercedes SUV to my job to intimidate my boss?" And you can pause to read. The purple bubble is Angela. Alex says, "My boss said that the guy said he was hired by you and Charles to say that Charles was in the restaurant both times with his daughters." Angela responds, "What? That doesn't even make sense." Then Alex says, "So is it a lie?" You see, Angela says, "Y'all at least need to get the lie together. Please, this is crazy." Alex says, "That's the thing. It's not a lie. And I'm not accusing you of anything. What I know is someone was hired to come to the..."
So, boom, Angela, I asked you flat out, did you send the guy in the Mercedes to my job to intimidate my boss? You said, "Excuse me, who, what, where? I don't know what you're talking about." But then on the episode, you said you got some people who don't play about you. I believe that was your words. I quote, I got some people who don't play about me.
The thing about that is, I did my own research to find out who plays about me. And because I have people who do not play about me, or my husband, they decided to pay him a visit.
So you sent some people to see about us. So you knew exactly what I was talking about when I flat out asked you, did you send this guy to our restaurant to threaten us and rough us up to get us to change the story and say that Charles was in the restaurant with his daughters? But anyways, back to part four. So as I was saying, at this point, Phaedra has invited me. Angela has invited Marcus through Drew, and it's the Friday of the gala, and we are all there. So boom, we're at the gala, and it is a long night for me because I get there at 6. Um, and then the actual event and ceremony and them honoring people lasted for what felt like an eternity, but I think it was probably about 2.5 hours, 3 hours. It just went on for a while. They thanked and honored about 15 to 27 people that y'all didn't see outside of Portia and the Meals on Wheels lady. So at some point before it ends, I step out, go outside, and then an altercation ensues between me and Charles Oakley, and he has me thrown out by security. Security is escorting me out. As I'm being escorted out, someone from production, for the first time in my experience in this whole thing, acknowledges me and stops and it's pretty much like, "Hey, he's a part of the storyline. We'll handle this." That guy from production walks away, security walks away. I'm standing down there, just pretty much told to wait. So I'm sitting down there for about 25, 30 minutes. I'm over it at this point. It's probably going on about 10, 10:30. And I'm like, all right, I'm going back upstairs to be like, look, I got to get out of here. So as I get up to the top of the stairs and I'm rounding the corner, none other than the Angela Oakley is rounding the other corner of the ballroom, and we are now walking towards each other. So she points all the way across, "You, get over here." And gladly. So as I walk over to her and follow her over, it is this scene that you guys didn't see in the episode where all of the women are sitting down on the sofa in the ballroom, where Angela was there standing, Drew was there standing, Marcus was there telling whatever he was telling. Um, and she was like, tell them right now that Phaedra sent y'all. And I go, no, Phaedra didn't. I said, you two, and did this finger motion pointing to her and Drew, and was basically like, the two of you told me to say it was Phaedra. Drew then, of course, chimes in, I don't know you. I've never met you a day in my life. She calls it acting. We call it lying, whatever. But Angela at that point then kind of starts to like spiral, and she gets upset, and she is just getting angry. And then at this point, she's like threatening and just getting real nasty. I mean, she's just getting real nasty at this point. And she's like, why would I do this? And I was like, I don't know. You wanted to have a moment with Phaedra. I don't know. So then I also want to mention, in this moment of her spiraling and being angry, this was then the only other time production steps in. And this is kind of what causes me to just be like, let me get out of here. In the heat of Angela being upset and angry and going off, she goes to start threatening people, threatening to have me fucked up, again, referring to those people she got that don't play about her, threatening Marcus. Then she makes some really disgusting comments about my marriage being fake. And then she calls me a fucking faggot. And that's when the production was like, Angela, you got to chill out. They stopped cameras. They're like, hey, you can't talk like this. And in the midst of all of this craziness, commotion, I'm like, I got to get out. But again, I don't want to get in my feelings on that because I spiraled out about that on the internet last year in real time. You guys can go and find all of that because it's still out there because the internet never dies. So that's it. There you have it. That was the end of the gala because at that point I'm gone, crashed out on the internet. It's over. But I do want to say, I want to give it up to Angela because Angela came on this season. Angela killed the season, and she held her head high and wore that crown of, the best newbie with such grace and elegance, and just came off as just so honest and transparent. But meanwhile, behind the scenes, Angela was running this whole thing like Suge Knight. But however, the part that's disappointing me the most is that soon as I start telling the truth and call you out for the truth, you and your PR team resort back to your day one tactics of bullying people and holding things over people's head and paying off your payola bloggers to go back to pushing this narrative about Marcus's past. And that's not cool. So as I've said, you've got all your conversations, I've got all of the conversations, and we can put them all out there. I'm fine with that. But what I'm not fine with is you sitting here trying to use somebody's past to strong arm them into saying or going along with whatever it is because you want to deflect from what's going on. So let's just be honest. Because we all have a past, so it's just not fair. Allegedly. Okay.
Well, damn.
Part 4.
Well, I wasn't expecting all of that, but he has said that Phaedra had nothing to do with the guy coming to Angela. So it's a narrative that Angela had created. I don't know the purpose of her creating this narrative. I don't know if she had an issue with Phaedra or it's because of the fact that Phaedra already had, a stigma attached to her with doing stuff sort of like this in the past. So it's easy for people to run with that where it comes to Phaedra. But that is going to be it for this episode of As the Real Housewives of Atlanta Turns. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. and drop down in the comments and let me know what you guys think about this turn of events. With that being said, have an amazing day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.